Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mark Wynn, and I am creator and co-writer of Anamex Beast Armor and the Fortune series, which are both available on Amazon.com right now. And in this video series, I'll be giving you uh, my personal opinions and advice on how to write a good story. So in this video, we're going to be talking about cliches. You can go look up the exact definition of a cliche if you need more detail or anything like that. But in my personal opinion, a cliche is something that is overused and will more than likely have a dull reception from your audience because that idea is no longer a fresh idea. People love ideas, or audiences love ideas that feel fresh, although nothing ever is really a fresh and raw idea anymore. These can be character tropes or specific behavior of a character, plot points, story endings, etc. For example, a romantic story is usually based on two or more characters who are in love. They meet each other, and there's usually a small spark of interest, and then usually there's one character who rejects the relationship, but the other character keeps pursuing or keeps trying to. The other character keeps trying until uh, that other character falls in love with them. Usually through antics or comedy, or pretty much the character showing effort to beat the other character into submission of love. The relationship grows until something begins to threaten the relationship. One or both of the characters are usually faced with a threat, faced with a decision to either stay or leave the relationship. Usually they tend to stay in the relationship, at least until the credits roll or you close the book, because love conquers all obstacles. Action stories usually involve a main protagonist trying to accomplish a goal. The antagonist is usually standing in the way of that goal or causing the goal itself. The protagonist usually has to go through several action-packed trials before they finally reach their goal. These trials serve to test the drive and the determination of the protagonist. And in the end, the protagonist must defeat the antagonist because good triumphs over evil. Other examples of cliches might include the hero always getting the girl, a series of explosions in action movies, characters falling while being chased, or something like investing a strange noise that's heard in a dark and eerie location. Why cliche isn't a positive trait? Another word for cliche is overused. Everyone has heard the example of eating the same foods all the time. It wouldn't be very interesting. The same goes for storytelling. The last thing you want to do is bore your audience. If your audience goes into your story and they're already able to predict plot points and things like that before they even get to them, it's not a good sign. In a time where everybody is pretty much busy with their own schedules and events, people look to movies and stories and TV shows and books to kind of get away from their own lives, at least for a few moments, and enjoy someone else's. But the most important factor in a story is the entertainment value. When the audience isn't entertained, they may feel the time that they took on your story was wasted, and nobody wants that, not you or your audience. Why cliche moments aren't always bad. There are some things in life that are just unavoidably cliche, but they have to be because audiences also like familiarity, which may sound like a bit of a contradiction. While they might not enjoy being able to predict plot points, characters, character actions, they will enjoy being able to relate to your story. Although you may have a situation that's been seen many times, if your audience can say, hey, I've been there, or that's happened to me before, or I know how that feels, then those are the kind of cliche moments that you do want to have. So if you have cliche moments, try to use realistic moments that are natural reoccurrences in the real world. For example, in a story where something sad has happened, or a character is thinking about maybe a bad moment, or they're reflecting on, that particular moment, there's usually some type of rain or flowing water, something like that, usually in scenes. It's cliche and it has been done plenty of times, but in the real world, rain and any source of like flowing water can tend to make a person feel contemplative. So that then becomes something that's relatable, which is a good thing. How to build from inspiration but not duplicate. What I mean by that is, even though a moment is cliche, you should still try your best to give your audience a different take on a situation that they might already be familiar with. What you want is to duplicate the emotional impact, not the exact way that the scene has already been done. For example, when someone is running away in a horror movie, they usually tend to fall. But tend to fall because they're so afraid of what is threatening them that they're not paying attention to anything else around them. Cliche, but what you want to do is keep the emotion of what it might feel like to be so afraid and terrified that you don't have any idea of what's necessarily going on around you. You just need to get away from the threat. You want to keep that part, the emotional part, but everything else about the scene, about the moment that you've seen before, try and do something different. Can you make a story that's completely void of cliche moments? I'm sure it's possible, but if you try and do so, you may lose that relatability factor that I mentioned earlier. Sometimes it's best to have those moments that makes your audience feel familiar than to go out of your way to make things different. It's kind of weird. Audiences won't always reward different. Some will, some won't. So it's a fine line to walk as a writer. You don't want to use too many cliche moments, but you also don't want to completely avoid cliche moments because you could miss out on the familiarity and the connection with your audience. Familiarity and relatability are some of the most important parts of making a great story. So if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and feel free to check out the playlist that I've made on other topics on how to write a good story. And you can always check out any Team Anamex book on Amazon.com as well as our DeviantArt. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with much more.